Hey, it's Trey, and welcome to the desk. I am so glad she came by to hang out with me. And I am starting off, I don't think I would use either of these. So I'm starting off, this is an AARP bulletin, and sometimes I can find some good stuff in this, and sometimes I can't, so. And one thing that I've really been doing is I've been making all this paper because it's kind of like a newsprint. I like to do transfers. These are just like, a lot of these are just like packing tape. I can't find the edge. I was going to show you, but now I can't find the edge. Okay, so it's just tape. I won't stick it underneath that other one. So it's just a little transparent image. Oh no. Move it, salsa. Ah! So yeah, it's just a little transparent image. Dang it, salsa, you ruin everything. But a lot of these are on just Scotch tape, shipping tape, and recently I've just been doing clear contact paper, which is probably what I'll use today because I really like it because it's really thick, and I think this is the clear contact. Yeah, it's just so much thicker and easier to work with, and I think the colors come out so much better too. So let's see if we can find any. I'm kind of liking this head here. I'm checking to see if there's watercolor on that side. There's not. So we're gonna cut out this little head. Get all the words off. And I'll show you how I do it. I do. I thought I had some peel and stick here. I can get him a little. As you can see, I prepared nothing before I turn on the camera. I'm just like, hey, I've got a little bit of time. Let me turn on the camera. It's been a while. I've been having some problems with my teeth. So, let me explain this process real quick, and then I'll tell you about my dentist adventure. Okay, so I just get this water and a piece of glass, and then you take this and you're going to lay it your face up into the water and let it get real wet. You want it saturated, wetty wet. Then you take your contact paper or piece of tape, whatever you're using, and you're just going to stick it right down on his little face. And I can tell you, if you put it in the water first and then put the tape on it, it's going to be easier, especially if you're using contact paper, because when you peel off this backing, it causes static. So when you start to go down, it will be attracted and it will fly up. And I'm telling you, it gets off center every single time. All right. So then, once you have it on your image and in the water, you just take your finger, I use a credit card, and you just rub it in really, really good over the color because you're smashing in the color into the adhesive. And then all you have to do is flip it over and you just peel off the paper. I usually peel it off like that, and then I'll rub it. Don't rub it like too hard because you'll rub off your image, but if you don't have to be like a delicate. And then you just put it, what I do, it was just here. It was just here. I use an old photo album I got from Dollar Tree, and these are some that I've made in the past, and I just stick it right on there to dry, just like that, and then it'll be ready when I want it. So yeah, so that's the process. All right, now let's talk as I do this process. So, I'm sorry, I haven't read this bulletin, so I'm reading it. I just read in the past year I've written more condolence cards than I have in all other years combined. It's just so sad. Memory foam mattresses are not for everyone. If you weigh over 200 pounds, go for Springs. Yeah, that's me. So I went to the dentist, and I don't know that I like any of these photos. I thought I was going to cut that one out, but I don't know. I don't really like it all that much. I went in, they shaved down 2 teeth, they extracted 1 tooth, and she had a kind of a hard time getting the bridge in there, which kind of concerned me. There's a lot of good quotes on this. I'll put that aside for now, so you don't have to listen to me read. Went in, got it all done. She had a hard time putting it in. And that night I had so much pain. It hurt so bad. I could barely talk. It just ached. And then the next morning it came out and broke. So I had to call them, and they're like, well, we can't get you in until the next day. So I had to go in on Thursday. So I was there on Monday. It broke on Tuesday. I had no bridge on Wednesday. And then, no, it broke on Wednesday. That's right. Because I had a picnic that day. So, Monday night, it hurt. Tuesday, it hurt all day. Then Wednesday morning, I got up and it was still hurting. And that morning is when it came out. And so then I called them, and they couldn't get me in that day. But they said I could get me in at 8 o'clock on Thursday. So I went in then and got it refitted, and they had to mess with it and mess with it and mess with it, and it hurt so bad. Oh my God. I was in so much pain. And then it's kind of ached most of the weekend, but it's doing better. I just had so much trauma, and it's just not a good area for my mouth because number one, I'm a grinder. So, and I grind right on that area too. So I know that makes it 100 times harder. So yeah. They called me a bad chomper. They were like, oh, you're a bad chomper. So he ended up, they tried several different things to get it in there. It's just really hard for where it's at. So he ended up having to adjust a crown that was on the top of my mouth to help alleviate any kind of stress on the bridge. And that seems to have helped. Because I think what happened is that crown on the top was hitting the bridge, and then it was causing that stress on it. So, ta-da! I know it doesn't look good now, but once it dries, it'll be fine. It just so happens there's stuff on the back of that page. You'll be fine. Trust me. Oh, well, no wonder I didn't even finish the process. No wonder it looks like crap. I got talking about my teeth and I didn't finish the process. That one came off real cleanly, but you can't hardly see her. We'll see if she lightens up. There we go. That looks better in the book now. That's much better. Tracy, you're a dummy. Oh. So yeah, that's mainly what I've been dealing with is my stupid mouth. But it is getting better. It's getting a lot better. So it hasn't even really bothered me today. It didn't really bother me last night. So I'm doing good. We went to Kentucky and Virginia on Sunday. That was really fun. We packed a picnic lunch and we drove up to I think it's Cumberland Gap State Park. And we just had all the fun. I was thinking about these icons, but I don't think I want them. I have some already. I'm sorry I keep yawning. I am just so tired today. And I already have like several icons that this is my favorite one. Feed Your Mind. But yeah, see, I got all these, so I'm not going to do anymore. I'm reading about these frauds. Scammers. These are cute. I might use these. I like that world. We made like some turkey on some tortillas with some cream cheese. Oh, it was so good. And we drove up and it was kind of a windy, colder day, so we just ate in the car. We looked for a picnic table and we like found one, but there was a guy and his son was sitting at the picnic table. Like there was two picnic tables right there, right next to each other. And we're like, no, let's not do that. Just give them their room. Because it looked like they were having a nice, fun outing. So we were like, no, let's just not. And it was cold anyways, and especially up there on the mountain. So we decided not to. And so we just sat in the car and it was nice. We just rolled down the windows and listened to the birds singing and looked out over the overview and just talked. We talked about convertibles. I'm trying to talk Jeremy into getting a new convertible. So we talked about that. And I think that I've got him convinced. So, because we have a Saab convertible now. It's like a 2003, but it is just falling apart. And it's really just junk now. And he hasn't even drove it in like 3 years. Probably not that long. But I'm like, you just need to get rid of it because, he's like, well, because originally he wanted to fix it up. But now it's just to the point where it's going to need major work, and it's going to end up being costing more than the car itself is worth. So I let him keep it and kind of think it over. Does he really want to do this? Because I understand he loves his Saab. He loves that it's unique and different, all that, and he hates to see it die. And I get it. And I'm like, if that's your passion project and that's what you want to do, I'm all for it. Because to me, it doesn't matter a hill of beans on what the car is worth. It's what the car is worth to you. And if he's finding joy out of it, I don't care if he puts in $10,000 into it. If it makes him happy. But that was the thing, and he hasn't done it, and it's because of the expense. He doesn't want to sink money into a car that's going to be more money in the car than it's worth. And I can understand that completely as well. So he's kind of been at a standstill with this. So when we were on top of the mountain, he was talking about a new car because I've been saying that I have been complaining recently about not having a truck because I wanted to get a truck, and then his dad, we said something to his dad about it, and his dad quit working last year. And so he said, "Well, you can have the work truck. I just need to clean it out and then you can have it." And then nothing else was said about it. So every time I bring up the truck, Jeremy's like, "Well, I don't want to ask about it." And I'm like, "Well, are we just supposed to wait forever for a truck?" I mean, come on. Is he going to give us the truck or not? Because, I mean, how long is it going to take him to clean out a truck? It's already been several months. And so we were talking about, getting a new vehicle, where he had said something about, he's like, "I guess I'm going to have to buy a truck." And I was like, no, because Jeremy, trust me, not a truck guy, would not be happy if he had to drive a truck every day. And we're talking about, right now we have 3 vehicles. We have my Volt, which is a Chevy Volt. We have a Santa Fe, Hyundai Santa Fe, and then the Saab. And the Saab isn't running. Well, it runs, but we don't drive it. It just sits under a cover. So we're talking about was getting rid of the Saab and the Santa Fe, because that was my mom car. Well, I don't need a mom car anymore because my sons are all grown. So the deal was that I said we would keep one car. At least one car had to have enough seats to haul all of our butts around in. And I said that several years ago, and Jeremy complained, but then he was happy about it, because when he got his Saab, I told him the same thing. I was like, you have to get, because he wanted to get like a 2-seater, and I was like, no, you must get a car that you can carry 3 people in, because at the time, Kenan was under 18 and lived with us. Now, Ron was not living with us, even though he was under 18, but we had to take Kenan to school and stuff. And I was like, no, if something happens to my car, you're going to have to step up and take him to school and all that. So you need to have a car. And he got so mad and was all upset with me. And sure enough, it wasn't probably a month after he bought that Saab that we ended up having to put the Santa Fe in the shop for a week. And we ended up, we were down to one car, and we had Kenan that week and had to take him to school. And let me tell you, not another word after that. So it was funny when we were in the mountain. He was like, "We don't need an extra seat anymore." I said, "No, baby, we sure don't." I was like, "We don't." I was like, "And if we need an extra seat, we've got the Volt." I was like, "We don't have to take babies to and from school anymore." I was like, "It's just us now, empty nesters." Even though Kenan does still live here. We're not quite empty nesters. But Kenan has his own car. He has the cutest little PT Cruiser convertible, and it's purple. It is such a cute car. I love it. I love his car so much. That's just like the perfect teenager car, and it just suits him so perfect. To have a convertible as a teenager, oh my God. Isn't that living the dream? Man, I tell you, that peels off so good on this paper. So nice. So the convertible has to be a 5-speed. That's one of our things. And I think he found one. He kind of wants a Camaro, but he's kind of like doesn't also want a Camaro. That's also good about putting it on the water, is you can still lift it up. It's not stuck until you start doing this. Yes. Although it did transfer a little bit. But that's okay. I don't care. Some of the gear, I don't know if you can see, but some of the gears transferred over a little bit, but it's just a tiny bit. I don't care. I don't even think you can notice it. You can a little bit. See right there? But see, I can cut that out. But yeah, still much better than the way it was. Let's see. Will this fit on that? Yeah, it'll fit. Do, do, do. So he wants a Camaro, but he kind of doesn't want a Camaro because his sister has a Camaro. So, he's kind of like, I don't want to get a Camaro because she's got a Camaro. And I'm like, I'm sure she doesn't care. Or, well, she'll make fun of me. Like, well, you just had to get one because I did. I got a little spot of something on my, see it right there? I just left it. Like, who cares? At first I was going to fret over it, and I'm like, man, by the time this goes in a junk journal, or a art journal or whatever, it's going to be painted over and everything else. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do, 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 do. That way. There we go. There's plenty of water. It's like, where's all this water going? I just keep squirting water, and then it just goes. It seems like it just disappears. Oh, and if you're wondering about this glass, it's just a picture frame from the Dollar Tree, I'm sure. And I just put tape around the edges so I don't cut my fingers. And boom, I got a little glass palette, and I use it all the time. And I got different sizes. This is probably the one I use the most, though. Because it's just so cute. Speaking of cute, where's my Willow? Where'd Willow go? She was here a few minutes ago. So I wanted to work on the yard today, but it's started raining. It wasn't really supposed to start raining until tomorrow, but it started raining. So I did go outside and work a little bit until it started raining, and it started sprinkling, and then it started raining harder, and I got my stuff. By the time I got to the house, it was raining pretty hard. And then about 5 minutes later, it was still sprinkling or whatever. My neighbor fired up his lawnmower. I'm like, okay. I really think it was a lawn service because I didn't see who did it. I could just hear them. And I'm like, man, because there's the person that's next to me and then the person across the street from her, they both get their lawns done by the same guy. And I swear, he will come out, it will be pouring rain, and he'll mow, and it's really awful because that's bad for the grass. I mean, they're, whatever, they pay for it. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm the girl who doesn't mow her lawn because I want all the bees to have the flowers. So we let our lawn go really high. And I know our neighbors get so mad at us. Because we do. We just let it go. Oh, that looks so good. Looks so nice. So nice. We, at clogging class, are gearing up for a competition in May, and I'm pretty darn excited. It's going to be in North Carolina. We already kind of know a little bit about it. Unfortunately, it's the same day as Claire gets married. There are only 2 northern white rhinos left on the planet. I hope they're opposite sex. So, we worked last night on one of our routines, and I think it's going to look cute. We had to reblock it because Claire's not going to be able to dance with us that day, and because she'll be getting married. I'm not even on screen. I'm still here, guys. I promise I'm still here. So, we worked on that last night, and it's going to be super cute, and I'm super excited to go and dance. We're going to have to wear masks the entire time, which is fine. We don't have to wear them on stage, which is good. We can take them off while we dance so we don't die, which is nice. So basically we have a person that stands at the side of the stage and holds our mask for us. This has happened at other competitions. And then as soon as we get off the stage, we put our mask back on, and then we each have our little section of the auditorium that we sit and stay, and we don't leave the area unless we're going to the bathroom or the dressing room. And it's worked out really good, the competitions that we went to. One was really, really good. They did it so good. The last competition we went to, no, they did not do it as well. They did it good to a point, and then it drug, because they were like, the first competition that we went to in the pandemic, basically it was like, okay, all the Pee Wee teams, okay, now all the elementary teams, all right, like that. So it was like, we went in and we did all of our dances within the span of probably 30 minutes. And yes, it was tough, because it's tough. It's clogging is basically you sprint. You sprint for about 2 minutes. That's just as hard and as fast as you can. With a smile on your face. So yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to do. And, hello, Willow. Hello, Willow. I'm going to get my girl. So, but the way this other competition did it is they wanted everybody to be there in their little designated area, and then they would do like each dance or whatever. So they didn't want like 2 hoedowns in a row. They didn't want to do 2 traditional lines in a row. And it just got really confusing. Then they got confused on their scoring sheets, and the scores got all messed up. And then we had to wait like 2 hours at the end of the day for them to get the scores. And then half of us have to drive home over a mountain. It was not a good time. We were not happy. Because the competition itself was over like at 5 p.m. So we're thinking, all right, good. We'll get out of here by 6 o'clock at the latest, and we'll get over the mountain, and it'll be wonderful. And at 8:30, we were still sitting there waiting for our results, and everybody was just getting madder and madder and madder. But the first one we went to was super, super good, and I hope they're going to do it a lot that way. And they did say something about block performances, which makes me think they're going to do it the exact same way that other competition did. And if they did, that'll be great, because that other competition was like, we had to be there at 1 o'clock. We performed and was out of there like at 3. And the only thing that like we missed was like the overalls. Overalls, it sounds like, not the outfit, but overall dance team, that kind of stuff. And we couldn't be there for that, but the directors could be. So it was nice. And we were like, we wish all of our competitions could be like that, because it was so good. Because half your competition day is just sitting around and waiting for your time to dance. And that can be so boring. So boring. I mean, sure, you love to watch the other people dance and all that. But, you know, after a while, that was a quote page. After a while, you're just like, I don't give a rat's ass who is dancing. Especially after like the 6th or 7th hoedown. Hoedowns tend to be really long dances. And depending on the type of hoedown, it could be very, very, very long. There's just one type of hoedown that every person on the stage must dance with everybody else. So it's like, you know, so you had to like decouple and couple with everybody. Yeah. And I don't like hoedown. This is why I don't like hoedowns. Is because it's not a scripted dance as far as the dance steps. It's scripted as far as the formations. So you have a caller. And that caller would say like, wagon wheel, ready, go. And then everybody goes into the wagon wheel formation. And to me, I don't know. Some people love hoedowns. Some people are just like, oh, hoedowns are the greatest. But I'm just like, man, they go on forever. Sorry, my phone was ringing. I had to run and grab it, thinking it might be work, but it wasn't. I'm sorry, I was just looking at that. That looks horribly photoshopped. I was just staring at that. Don't call back! Oh, these tags are cute. I don't know. I really don't want to do those. Oh, the brain things count. Let's do the brain thing. Let's do the brain thing. I got all kinds of stuff happening. Sorry about that. That was work, and I cut out my little brain. I was talking to my work son, and I went ahead. I decided to do one of these little tags. And also, Jeremy just texted to say he's going to lunch. So, we'll see how much we can get done while I wait for him to call me. And then I'll probably have to wrap it up and get off of here today. It's already been 30 minutes. I'm very curious. What do you all guys do while you have my video on? Do you just craft along with doing something else? Or are you cleaning the house and just listening to me jabber? Or are you actually just sitting there watching me? I know that when I do videos, because I am a big YouTube watcher, and that when I watch people's videos, that I tend to just listen and work on my own stuff. But I also watch, you know, because a lot of times they'll say, oh, look at this technique, or they'll say something about what they're working on, and then I'll look up and see it. Or sometimes I just like to sit and watch somebody else work and just relax and watch somebody create something beautiful. I love to watch Dede, like color stuff. And it just turns out so beautiful. I'm like, if I did that same thing, it would not turn out like that. I love to watch people who can draw because I cannot draw, but I have been like trying to teach myself how to sketch. I'm not really interested. I think I shared with you guys that I tried like the drawing on the right side of the brain um, to learn to draw, but I really don't have the patience to draw because drawing takes a lot of time and effort. And I mean, I really did put in the effort on that book. And I got to the point that I was hating it, that I was dreading having to put in that work and how hard it was. And it was like this one exercise, like you had to draw this, you turned it upside down. It was a guy in a chair. You turned the drawing upside down and then you drew it in that portion, and it was supposed to help you see that you could actually draw. And oh my gosh, it took me forever to do it. It still didn't come out all that great, even though I was impressed that it was better than I figured it would be. But still, I hated it. I hated the process of it. I hated having to look so closely at what I was trying to replicate and then trying to replicate it. I just didn't like it. I really think more what I want to do is like sketch. I just want to be able to like just sketch a little cartoon, a little whimsical face. That's all I want. I don't need anything fancy. I don't need to be drawing a masterpiece. I just wanted to draw cute things, so I can draw cute things in my art journal or whatever. Oh, I'm still yawning. Sorry, guys. All right, let's do these. I think I'm going to do these and then probably be done. We'll see how far we get. Because I do need to clock back in to work and work a little. I had planned on taking this afternoon off, like I said, and working outside. But it's just so gloomy now, and now it's rained, and I'm like, I don't want to go outside and weed because it's going to be all muddy. And when I do my gardening, I actually sit on the ground to garden. I don't use like a hoe or a shovel or anything. I use hand tools and I sit on the ground because I have found with my herniated disc in my neck that that's actually the best thing for me. Anything else it really sets off my neck really badly. So cute. It pretty came off on one little thing. Cute. Little heart. We'll do that one. Oh, that'll work. I'm so frugal. So I am going to log back into work. I really don't have anything to do this afternoon. I'm going to log in and make sure everything is good. There's no emergencies. I got a new phone. This is my new phone. Pretty, isn't it? I already got dirt on it. Life of a Gardener. It's a Motorola G. Just got it yesterday, so I'm still in the midst of setting it up, and I do not have my work email on there yet. So I need to do that. I got a tiny little ARP card. Love it. All right, I need another peel and stick section. There we go. So my friend was telling me about a new tomato that she had found. First of all, we got any gardeners in the house? Whoop, whoop. So she found this new tomato, and I hadn't heard of it. It's like a cherry tomato, and it's called Rapunzel. And you put it in a hanging basket, and then it like hangs down. I'm like, that's so cool. So now I want one. Because she has one, I want one. I'm really excited to see how they do this year for her. But she's in Kentucky. Oh, it's so sad that my best friend lives so far away. I hate that for us. I really do. Because it just sucks. But I guess I'm just lucky that we found each other when we did. Because God knew we needed each other before we went our separate ways. Because really, in the grand scheme of life, she's my very best friend ever. And I tell her everything. She knows absolutely everything about me. And she's the only person too. And in the grand scheme of things, we were only together in person for 2 years. 2 years. And now we've been friends for 20 something years, but we only lived in close proximity for 2. And then, honestly, I can't remember who moved first. I think maybe she moved first. She met her husband, Gary, and he was from her hometown. And she ended up moving back home to be with him. And so she's been there ever since. And then I ended up moving back home, ironically enough, to Tennessee. But we met in Georgia. So she's in near Paducah, Kentucky. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee. But through technology, we are able to stay in touch. And we can actually stay in touch a lot better now than in the past. Oh, I'll be right back. I have returned. I am back. I had to speak to my husband. So, does your all's husbands like call you at lunch and whatever? Jeremy and I have always spoken at lunch. Every time. I mean, it's very rare that we don't speak at lunch. And usually if it's something, one of us are doing something. But I guess my jobs have always been pretty flexible. Well, I've only had one job since I've known Jeremy, really. So, I've had 2, but I guess both of those were flexible enough that anytime he had a lunch, I could take a break and talk to him. So when we first got together, I was actually working at a church as their webmaster, but it was only part-time. And I had gotten myself in a situation where I needed full-time work. So I was already starting to look for a full-time job, really, when Jeremy came back into my life. And then it just so happened that I ran into a girl I used to work with at an old company, and she told me that our old boss had just split from that old company and was looking to open his own. And I said, "Really?" I was like, "Well, let him know I'm interested," because she said she was going to the new company, and I was like, "Well, let him know I'm interested." And so he called me and said, "I cannot afford to give you full time." And my heart sank. And I said, "Okay." He said, "But I also cannot afford to lose you." He's like, "I'm going to give you a full-time job." He's like, "I only ask that you work the minimum full-time until we can get on our feet enough to afford you." And I said, "I don't care so much about the hours. I need the benefits." So he's like, "Well, in that case, we can definitely work something out." So I worked the minimum of to be full-time until they could afford me. And I think that's great. I think that made me feel really appreciated. The fact that, look, I can't afford you. But I'm willing to because I don't want to lose you. So I did. I brought down my price and I said, look, you don't have to pay me that. Pay me this. Give me full time. Give me benefits. When you can, I know that you'll do the right thing. And sure enough, as soon as he got on his feet, gave me a raise. And I was like, yes. And then it came to a point where I didn't ask for any more money and I stayed several years. And I finally went to him and said, look, I got you on your feet. You all are doing well. I think it's time for me to move on because, I'm right now, because at the time Jeremy had just gotten laid off. And I'm like, right now I'm so, I'm supporting a family of 4 here and I can't do it on this. And they were like, give us 3 days. I'm like, okay, I'll give you 3 days. I mean, because at that point, I hadn't even looked for a job. I just said, this is the thing. I have to have another job. And in 3 days, they came back with a counter offer and said, we crunched the numbers, and this is absolutely the top dollar that we can give you. He said, if you need anything above that, then no. And I was like, wow, because I mean it was a nice little raise. And it's also, I realized I also hit the glass ceiling. 1 in 5 older patients who visit the ER will be back in the hospital within 30 days. I think a lot of that is because they just try to get you back out. It's like they don't take the time to figure out what's really going on. And also they don't have your whole health thing. I got a whole thoughts about that. All right, guys, I think we're finishing this up. Yeah, I think we're done. Yeah. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. It was really nice to catch up with you guys. I'm going to really try hard and get a video out at least twice a week. I really like to do more. I love hanging out with you guys, and I'm just trying to think of hey, just go to your room, sit down for a few minutes, turn on the camera, and upload something. So, jitterbug. You have to meet fear head on. Oh, yeah. They're so cute. I love my little stickers. Free. I got into this really big free thing. It's free, 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 free. So yeah, I think that's all of them. Okay, guys, and now I'm goofing off. Tomorrow I'm going to try to jump on here and let's get back to our little glue book. I'm looking for it. I thought it was around here, but I guess it's not. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.